The Reign of Terror, the Yorkshire Ripper case. In the grim landscape of late 1970s Britain, fear gripped the cities of Yorkshire and beyond as a series of brutal murders unfolded. The man behind these heinous crimes was Peter Sutcliffe, a seemingly ordinary man whose violent actions would leave a lasting scar on the nation. Peter Sutcliffe was born on June 2, 1946, in Bingley, West Yorkshire. He was the youngest of 5 children and had a troubled upbringing marked by a strict and often harsh father. Sutcliffe struggled with feelings of inadequacy and a sense of alienation throughout his childhood and into adulthood. He became a lorry driver and married his wife, Sonia, in 1974, but he was known to have a dark side that would eventually emerge. The first murder attributed to Sutcliffe occurred in October 1975. He attacked 28-year-old Wilma Montesi, but it wasn't until 1977 that he began his infamous spree, targeting women who were often sex workers. The murders were marked by extreme violence and brutality, with Sutcliffe using a hammer and a knife to kill his victims. Sutcliffe's first confirmed murder was that of 28-year-old Wilma Montesi in 1975. However, the series of killings that would earn him the name Yorkshire Ripper began in earnest in 1977. His victims included Mary Ann Rawson, 1977, found in Leeds; Emily Jackson, 1976, murdered in Leeds; Marcella Claxton, a sex worker, killed in 1979; Yvonne Pearson disappeared in 1979 and was found murdered; Helen Ritker, another victim, from 1979. Sutcliffe's attacks were characterized by extreme violence, and he often mutilated his victims post-mortem, leading to heightened fear and outrage in the community. The investigation to catch the Yorkshire Ripper became one of the largest manhunts in British history. Over 2,000 officers were involved and more than 200,000 interviews were conducted. The police received thousands of tips and sightings, but Sutcliffe managed to evade capture for years. In 1979, the police received a series of letters and tape recordings from someone claiming to be the Ripper, taunting law enforcement and detailing his crimes. The letters were ultimately traced back to Sutcliffe, but at the time, they led the police down various false paths, creating frustration and confusion. It wasn't until 1980 that the investigation finally began to close in on Sutcliffe. In January of that year, he was arrested for driving without a valid license and insurance. During the routine check, the police discovered a hammer and a knife in his car, which raised suspicions. After hours of questioning, Sutcliffe finally confessed to being the Yorkshire Ripper. In his confession, Sutcliffe claimed that he was compelled to kill women because he believed he was carrying out a divine mission. His motivations were bizarre and complex, and during the trial, he would often shift between being remorseful and defensive, trying to portray himself as a victim of his own compulsions. Peter Sutcliffe stood trial in 1981 at the Old Bailey in London. He faced a total of 13 counts of murder and 7 counts of attempted murder. The trial was marked by graphic details of his crimes, and Sutcliffe's defense attempted to argue that he was insane. They claimed he suffered from a personality disorder, and the jury was presented with psychiatric evaluations. However, the prosecution provided overwhelming evidence of his guilt, including his confession and the physical evidence linking him to the crimes. In 1981, Sutcliffe was found guilty of 13 murders and 7 attempted murders. He was sentenced to 20 concurrent life sentences.